Well, at this moment, I'm saying to myself, I'm not really a talk show host, but I'm a fan. I'm an avid fan of a man, I guess, who is America. His name is Bob Hope. Bob, how have you been?
Fine, Joe. Great to see you. I haven't seen you for quite a while, and I've been watching you all my life.
At least 1,000 years.
Yeah. And I'll never forget one time you had Bing on the show. True?
Couple times.
But I saw Bing on the show, I don't know, about, what, 20 years ago or something like that.
I always wanted Bing, and I figured the way to get him is to captivate his wife. So I had her on about 3 times, and then she finally, got to like me, and she got me Bing.
That wasn't the way. Bing did what he wanted to do.
Really, huh?
He didn't listen to anybody.
Was he nice?
Hell of a guy. If he was your buddy, he was a hell of a guy. He's a loner. He was a loner, you know.
A loner.
But we had so much fun together. We were good pals.
We were old pals from the Friars Club, and we played the Capitol Theater together, and I knew him very well. And he started kidding me about I was a little ample in the waist in those days, and he called me a pot, you know, how did you, only pot I ever saw didn't have a rainbow over it, stuff like that.
Right.
And then I'd kid him about his nose and about his bad jokes. And
So we started ad-libbing together, and that's where we got the president of the Coca-Cola Company, meaning the president of Pepsi-Cola, coming down the street, and we walk across like this, turn and belch into the mic, you know, and I'd belch once more, say, bigger bottle, and then 2 farmers meeting on the street, and he'd milk my thumbs, you know, and all this stuff, and so 2 politicians, we shake hands and go into each other's pockets, and all this kind of stuff.
And then I was on his show, and we'd do the same humor, and he was on mine, the same thing, and then finally somebody at the studio, I think it was Buddy DeSilva, who was head of Paramount then.
Right.
He said, why don't we put
These 2 guys together? They ad-lib pretty good.
Fantastic.
That's how the road series got started.
Come on, we got some traveling to do. On your feet, elbow nose. Come on here.
Drop that beak. The day I met you, there were vultures in the sky. Should have taken that for an omen.
Those were bluebirds. Now stop worrying. I'll get you out of this.
Oh, don't get me out of things. Stop getting me into things, will you?
Look, Harold.
I'll be darned. French poodle.
No, those are sheep. We're safe.
I don't trust you or the sheep.
Don't you see, Harold? Wherever there's sheep, there's a farm. Wherever there's a farm, there's a farmer. And wherever there's a farmer, there's a farmer's daughter.
Now you're getting me into trouble again.
Come on.
That's why we had so much fun, because it was so loose, you know. And then Bing used to take a punchline ahead of one of my punchlines ahead of me, and I used to do it to him. So it was always a you were awake at all times, you know.
Fantastic. Were you close with Bing socially?
Oh yeah,
Really?
as close as we could get for 2 fellas.
He was great.
Yeah.
If you had to name some of the favorite leading ladies, would Lucille Ball be...
Oh yeah, I made 4 pictures with her.
She'd be near the top?
Yeah.
And if we speak about Lucy, how can we not mention the name Desi? I'm sure you've worked with the late and great Mr. Arnaz.
Yeah, Desi had a band, so I used Desi for a couple of years, and we used to give him a line. He'd walk up to the mic, and a enchilada would fall out, you know. He couldn't get a laugh. But I said to the writers, give him a couple of lines. Don't worry about that. And after he got his own show, and he was getting screams, and I met him in Palm Springs a couple of years later, I said, you're getting laughs, and he fell down. He knew exactly what I meant.
Fabulous.
You know? And he developed into some kind of guy.
Have you seen that other show business juvenile lately, a young fellow named George Burns?
Yeah. He was at our house a couple of weeks ago. Dolores had a big birthday party.
Looks good.
And George was there, sitting there, and she had Jerry Ford on her left, which was the president, and Burns on her right. I said, you're not supposed to do that. The president's supposed to sit on your right. She said, I don't care about that. I want George Burns on my right. She loves him, you know.
Fantastic.
And he talks dirty to her and everything. Oh, he's bad.
Kinky.
Bad boy. Belongs with the Detroit Pistons.
I heard that. Is it true that Burns used to make Jack Benny laugh? That Jack Benny would
make
only...
him laugh. Jack would fall down. All he'd have to do is says, what about that lapel there? You got a little powder on your lapel.
Right.
He'd say, where? I said, oh, no, it fell off before you got there. Benny would fall down.
Fall down. Fabulous.
Awful.
Bob, you know, it's funny. I do an overnight radio show, and I play a record once in a while that's sold in the millions by Bunny Berrigan.
Do you ever go home? You're on all the time.
I never quit. I'm what they call...
Overnight radio show?
Yeah, I play nostalgic records. And whenever I play one called...
Well, you have a bed in there, huh?
Yeah, I play long records and lie down when the long... Whenever I play a record by Bunny Berrigan called I Can't Get Started With You, which sold in the millions,
Yeah.
what am I going to say now?
You're going to say that he didn't introduce the show, that I introduced it in the Ziegfeld Follies with Fanny Bryce, and I sang it to a beautiful redheaded showgirl called Eve Arden, who later turned out to be Eve Arden.
Isn't that great? Now, how many people, I mean, when...
No, Bunny Berrigan made the record.
Right.
It was his song. But he forget that, you know, Ira Gershwin and Vernon Duke wrote that for me.
For Bob Hope.
That's right.
And
I introduced it at the Winter Garden, 1935-36.
Bob, I can only tell you that I'm a fan, and...
I'm a fan of yours. I've been watching you forever. Very
Long
few
time.
people I know that's older than I am.
That's right. Well, when you were a kid, you used to watch me in vaudeville. Bob, let's have...
Thank you, Joe.
Let's have many more great years. It couldn't be better.